All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision.
We have to do the countdown. It makes it work.
It makes me feel like I'm in a real studio.
Exactly.
Brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. studios. It is Bueller and the Ruloff brothers once again. Dodge should be back after the holidays, so we'll have our regular banter.
Who?
Yeah, who?
Dodge who? Dodge who?
Dodging the show. That's what he's doing.
That's it.
He should be back soon, though. Thanks for checking in. Of course, make sure you tell your friends to get us on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio as well. Look up MMA Podcast. Our website was splitdecisionmma.com. And did I say iTunes? Yeah, I said iTunes. And, of course, strongboardbalance.com. They're still doing their holiday giveaway. Totally worth checking into. Change the way you work out. Get on board, strongboardbalance.com. And we still have one at Sculpt Fitness, and they're really, really digging it. So if you get a chance to check one of these out, totally worth it. Strongboardbalance.com.
Tell them they need to post some videos. I haven't seen any videos.
I'll get them to.
All right.
I told him to send them to me
All
so
right.
I can post them.
Joey saw. Send them to me first. After I defile them.
I watch them in slow motion first.
Slow motion for me.
Very
Slow motion for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
And mymmanews.com, our second home and your place for breaking news, because obviously we do this once a week. We can't catch up on everything.
They do it all week.
They do it all week long.
24/7.
All week long.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of fight cards to go over today. We got some UFC news as well. Of course, obviously, spoiler alert, Yoda comes back from the dead and is the actual Sith Lord. I have not seen the movie. If that happens to be true, then I'm sorry. But I really, really doubt it.
Yeah. Chewbacca is Jar Jar Binks' father. That's another
It's
one
entirely
I heard.
possible. It's the Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord.
Jarbaka?
Jarbaka.
They have an unholy
Or
match.
Chew Binks.
That sounds racist for some reason. Like Jarbaka sounds all right, but Chew Binks does not sound like an acceptable term. So obviously, but again, spoiler alert for last week. If you didn't know this already, obviously we had some changing of the guard, so to speak. It's been a big year for that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy when you look at it. How many people have lost their titles this year?
I said happened right at the end of the year.
Well, but didn't Kane lose his at the beginning of the year?
Okay.
And then obviously we had
It's almost like it was written because UFC is turning into WWE.
Well, depending on what you believe, Josh, it was written a long time ago. It was written
In a galaxy far, far away.
Now you're just being a Chew Binks.
So yeah, Conor McGregor obviously took out the King, Jose Aldo last week for the belt, and Luke Rockhold also from right here in Northern California got his belt as well. So we'll get to those fights in a little bit, but it kind of had to do with some news here. With first off, we'll go to Luke Rockhold. Apparently, kind of pissed at Herb Dean, like felt bad for Weidman while he was beating him up.
I had a whole living room of pissed people at Herb Dean. They were
Really?
like, how do you let this keep going on?
Giving the champ the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
I took Luke in the third.
Here's the thing: is that I had an obligation on Saturday, so instead of like watching the fights, I was just watching the play-by-play on SureDog.
Right.
And so I'm like frantically refreshing, because I was alive for a while on my DraftKings picks too. And then we'll get to the fights later. But
Don't you hate that? You're like, man, I'm in the top 10 for $3 million.
Yeah.
Wah, wah,
Wah. Yeah, I kind of got screwed on the Jacare decision, and that took me out of it pretty quickly. But I'm frantically like refreshing, and I was like, holy shit, Rockhold did it, especially when the first round pretty much went to Weidman. You know, but he was pissed at Herb Dean because he wanted Herb Dean to stop the fight. He just was like, I'm done beating him up.
Yeah, he was demolished in his face.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of feel the same way about it?
Oh, yeah.
It went a little too long.
Yeah.
A little too long. Herb Dean should have stepped in. Maybe Herb Dean was too busy thinking about the money he had riding on Weidman.
Something. I don't know exactly what he had going on, but I started worrying about Rockhold himself. He was taking big. Well, we're probably going to talk more about it later, but he was not looking good himself.
Well, he took it beaten in the first round for
Yep.
sure. For him to come back was pretty amazing. But yeah, like you said, we'll get to that later. Also, as far as like the whole Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor thing go down, Conor McGregor, apparently there's a rumor about his wrist. People were asking about his wrist and his I don't know how to say his manager's name, coach's name, Kavanaugh. It's not Kavanaugh. It's just Cav something.
Sure.
Cava NGH. Anyway, he was getting a bunch of messages and stuff like that, and he addressed the top 6 questions that he was being asked. One of them was the question of Conor's wrist. Nothing wrong with Conor's wrist. It's 100%. He's good to go. So he should be back, ready to fight again anytime. Once he gets done, he does have a 6-month medical. I'm sure that's going to get reduced.
Right.
But apparently, I mean, how could he suffer any injuries really in that short amount of time? But it was being asked about the wrist, and apparently it's all good. Also, you got Joe Rogan apologizing for questioning Aldo's physique coming into the fight. There was a lot of issues.
I don't think that the big deal was that. See, what everybody's making the big deal is that it was something that wasn't supposed to be heard. He had a live mic. I guess he was still in the truck, or the truck had left it live, and it was just something just set off the cuff. Like he looks. What did he say? He made mention about the color of his skin and how he looked, and he looked a little flat.
Yeah, So he's apologizing. He's apologizing because he got caught. I'm not sorry I said it. I'm sorry you heard it. That's pretty much what it is.
My thing is, people aren't entitled to their opinion anymore. If that's how Joe Rogan felt, then he shouldn't have to apologize for that's what he said. He wasn't. I don't know. Like everybody's trying to say that he was implying that because he had to get off the juice because now the Brazilians are being tested, which everybody turned it into. I've probably heard it 5 or 6 times this week that we will never see another Brazilian champion since the drug testing has been brought in like this.
But what does that say about the Brazilians then?
No, but I'm just saying I don't believe that. But I
don't believe it either.
But that's what a lot of American people and British people are saying now, that because we have the testing, you're not going to see another champ come out of Brazil.
I think that's a huge cop out. It's a huge cop out.
Yeah. Well, I just attribute it to that. McGregor did exactly what he said he was going to do, the bastard.
Well, and Dominic Cruz I guess we can get to this with the fight later, but Dominic Cruz had a brilliant breakdown of the fight, too. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that, because the way he said it before the fight even happened was like, it gave me a lot of respect for Dominic Cruz, a guy who I've always thought was Mr. Glass and avoided fights and very boring fighter, but his fight knowledge is pretty damn good. But speaking of the Aldo fight, also, Junior Dos Santos, who's fighting this weekend, says that Aldo deserves a rematch more than Kane or Ronda Rousey.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to cover it, because I'm stuck now. I think I read the other day that they're saying that they're going to let Rousey film 2 movies and do her rehab and make Holly just sit on the side this whole time.
Yeah, and that also came out this week.
That's ridiculous.
Ronda Rousey gets to film 2 movies and do her rehab and do her training camp before she'll come back and fight Holly Holm. That's what Lorenzo Fertitta came out and said.
They should let Holly fight somebody in between.
She should fight. She should absolutely, without a doubt, fight Cupcake at least.
At least.
And I think that makes complete sense. And the fans should voice their opinion on that. I think it's really stupid. I know it's a money thing. I get it's a money thing. But you're gonna
start a petition, people. Look what you guys did for Nick. That was awesome.
Yeah, so do that. I mean, you're gonna bench Holly Holm for 8 months. That's asinine.
In actuality, it could be longer than that.
Well, they can't go a year, because then they have to do it. Well, she's the champ, but then they have to do a match in a year, because when they changed the rules for the interim belt and stuff like that, they made it a year. If you can't defend your belt within a year, then
if they schedule you a fight.
Maybe, but I think that it's a year time.
Okay.
It's loose wording, but it's definitely going to happen within a year. She'll fight somebody. It just shouldn't be that long, though. It should be 6 months tops.
No. And honestly, I don't think it'd be good for Ronda to wait that long to fight anybody either.
I don't think Ronda's coming back. I'm sticking with that. I don't, especially if she gets off to film 2 movies. She gets to hang out on set and eat all that stuff that they got on set. Gina Carano's going to show up. They're going to double fist ice creams together.
We're going to have Cupcake and Fluffernutter.
Every time I hear double fist ice cream, that's not the first image that comes to my head, is not eating ice cream.
Why, do you know somebody named Ice Cream?
No.
Some dude back at the yard?
Some midget. Little midget named Double Scoop. Double Scoop with a double fist.
Call that guy 2 Scoop right there.
2 Scoop.
So, moving on from there, there's the Fighter Summit that went on recently, and they proposed some new weight classes. They're going to get rid of the jump from 155 to 170. This is proposed, and instead just go every 10 pounds.
Is this because of to go in line with the IV ban?
It's possible, yeah.
That way to give these guys who've been doing it to drop to the 155, give them a 165? It's
entirely possible. And these guys really, they should be fighting at a weight that they're more healthy at anyway. I mean, Conor McGregor fighting, was he fight 145, right? And he weighed 173 the day of the fight?
Right.
That's a big weight cut, man.
See, now outside of the IV ban, I think they should weigh in the morning like wrestlers.
I don't see why not. They have to do it at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions. They have to do it at wrestling, like you said. When do boxers weigh in, the day before?
I think boxers weigh in whenever they want.
Whenever they want, yeah.
Because I don't think weight is a big deal in boxing, to tell you the truth.
But yeah, so they're talking about going every 10 pounds now. I'm actually kind of down for that. So it's just going to go straight 155, 165, 175, 185. So there's not going to be a 15-pound jump between 55 and 70 and 70 and 85, which there was before.
We'll see if everybody goes for it, though.
I don't know if it has to be everybody going for it as much as it just has to be the MMA commission.
Right.
You know, and I think the fighters, it's obviously going to affect the guys the most in that weight range.
You think it happens in a smaller promotion before? Like, you think we'll see it go in Bellator? Or
I think smaller
World
promotions
Series?
already have this.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, not Bellator or World Series of Fighting, but I think when you look at like the state ones like we have here in Northern California,
Right.
I don't want to say specifically like Tai Chi or anything like that, but I remember when I was doing the fight management that there were some organizations that I looked
I'll have
into.
to check that out with Ismatic. See what he says. Ismatic and Cali Fights.
There are definitely some like smaller fight organizations that just
Right.
do straight 10-pound increments, and that is it. I think it's good for the whole sport. It's going to mess up all the guys that are in that weight range. It'll mess up with the belt. It's going to create an extra belt. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't know. Time will tell if it even happens. Also, one of the big wigs of World Series of Fighting, no longer in World Series of Fighting.
Abdelaziz.
It's Ali, bless you.
Doesn't he manages fighters in the UFC too, right? That was already the conflict.
That's probably what it is. Ali Abdelaziz is now CEO. So we've amicably parted ways with executive Ali, and yeah, pretty much it had to do with conflict of interest concerns related to his work with the promotion.
Right.
So he's no longer at all.
And the people he represents are making good money now. So his percentage off the top is enough to get him from stop skimming from World Series of Fighting. Allegedly, that's what I read.
Allegedly. Speaking of people moving on now, Aljamain Sterling, who was a standout in the UFC in the 135 division, is a free agent now. They got the call. His manager got the call from the UFC that said he was free to go ahead and pursue free agency.
Everybody wants to test the water.
But he didn't want to leave the UFC, and he has 3 impressive finishes out of 4 fights, and I think he's undefeated in the UFC.
Hey,
went 4-0 in the UFC with 3 stoppages, and they're like, Like, I wonder what that means for the 135 division, though. Are they just not interested in pursuing it anymore?
It's hard to tell. I mean, we've seen other promotions tell a champion take a walk.
True.
You know.
True. Ben Askren.
Yeah.
And Melvin Gillard, who we talk about quite often, has found a new home. Going to be fighting at Bellator 149.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like Chuck's Steakhouse and waffles.
Yeah, he's selling hoverboards at U-Wheels. Speaking of which, fuck those things.
Did you buy one at a kiosk at the mall?
If you did, it's going to blow up.
It's going to blow up.
Because even the $400
Allegedly,
ones,
that's what I read.
the $400 ones are blowing up, man.
They're all it's just like a RC car. If you keep recharging it and play with it and recharge it and play with it, even an RC car after a while starts getting kind of hot.
Yeah, but there was a guy who bought one at Swagway in a New York mall, plugged it in, 45 minutes later, it blew up.
Was he heavy?
He wasn't even on it. It was still charging.
Oh, it was just charging?
They won't ship them on airplanes anymore. The USPS won't ship them via air. They're hazardous. Don't ride those things, people.
Oh, well, there's rechargeable NiCad battery packs that airlines won't allow on anymore.
Is that right?
Yeah, for the same thing.
This is going to be the next terrorist attack. Is going to be on hoverboards.
That's what it is. Where are they built? Are they built in Syria?
It's just going to see an army of people on hoverboards riding to a public place.
They're like, first we make it catch on, and then we set bombs in them.
Make it really popular so all the kids want them. So yeah, Melvin Gillard is going to be going up against Mike Bronzoulis, who is 18-9. Melvin Gillard, who's 32-15-2. It's been added to February's Bellator 149 card. It's going to be February 19th at Toyota Center in Houston. If you happen to be looking for fights to go watch, there you go. This is the one. I'm sorry. This is the one with Horace Gracie versus Ken Shamrock, Kimbo Slice versus Dafir Harris, Daniel Pineda up against Emmanuel Sanchez, and also the fight we just mentioned. I thought Kimbo Slice was fighting somebody. What I thought he was fighting is Dafir Harris. Is that Dad at 5,000?
Yeah, it's Dad at 5,000.
Is it?
I think it's his real name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And since we're talking about that, I guess we can talk about
Ken Shamrock
back
and
together and feel so good.
We are family.
Yeah, reunited.
So Ken Shamrock and Frank Shamrock are apparently they've squashed their beef and are now training together for Frank's upcoming fight.
It doesn't sound right when you say that. Frank and Ken are over there squashing the beef, playing grab ass.
Playing tummy sticks and smashing their beef together. They're not technically related, right?
Where's two scoops?
So yeah, Frank's helping Ken train for his fight up against Royce Gracie. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to... You guys are like 50, 60 years old. What are you training for? Just oxygen? Just how to breathe? I don't think this is going to be a very explosive fight, you know?
It could be. It could like a lower GI explosion. Something. Sponsored by AARP.
I think that the Shamrock brothers are just both banding together because both of them are out of money. I mean, Frank was the one. He didn't even get Invisalign braces when he got braces. You're a fucking fighter. You're a mixed martial artist, and you got chrome braces when Invisalign was out?
Stop talking about my headgear. Stop it.
We just need to put our money together and open up another Lion's Den, man.
Something.
Something, please. So, yeah, that fight's going on in February in Texas, like we said. And we can move on to the fights now if you want. Oh, yeah, Junior Dos Santos also did it. We're going to get into his fight in a minute. He did an AMA on Reddit. It was weird because somebody asked him why, because a lot of Brazilian fighters don't care to learn English because they have translators in the UFC. But JDS was very adamant about wanting to learn English. And they asked him why, and he said, it's because I want to be able to communicate with my fans. I want them to be able to understand me, but I also want to be able to understand them and be able to have conversations with them. I shit you not, every other question that was asked in that AMA was answered with 3 words or less. Like, glad that you can communicate with your fans. It's awesome. But he also says this fight with Alistair Overeem, it doesn't really do anything for his career, he thinks. He's going to walk through Overeem, and it doesn't really help him in the top 10 standings or anything like that. So I thought that was an interesting take from JDS. And also, we know that we have Nate Diaz finally fighting again this weekend. And he was already fighting in the hotel in Florida. Middle Easy.
Dude, they posted videos this week of him while he's wrestling his partners. Yeah. He's talking smack to him. Just to work on his smack talk, you know? Just people sparring with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a scuffle with Michael Johnson at the UFC host hotel in Orlando.
Until you do it at the hospital, you're not one-upping your brother.
He's trying. He's trying. So last week, we had a lot of fights going on. A lot. This was a Thursday card, I'm assuming, here.
Yep.
Where it was headlined by Rose Namajunas and Paige Van Zandt. Kick off the night with Kaylin Karan and Emily Kagan. This started off with the second round rear naked choke in favor of Kaylin Karan. Then Zubaira Tukhov up against Philippe Nova. There's a split decision. Philippe Nova did not end up on the winning side of that. And Danny Roberts, a guy who you can't even click on Wikipedia, wins defeats with a technical triangle choke over Nathan Coy. Bet you can click on him now. No, you still can't click on him.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Somebody will update it. Maybe I'll do it later.
Santiago Ponzinibbio up against Andreas Stahl. It's TKO.
Quit hitting my face.
First round. And then, like we just talked about, Aljamain Sterling, who gets a submission guillotine choke over Johnny Eduardo in the second round. And then his contract is not being renegotiated. He's not cut.
Right.
He's not cut, but he's a free agent at this point in time. Antonio Carlos Jr. up against Kevin Casey. Accidental eye poke.
Quick.
Whatever. Kevin Casey sucks. Fake black belt having whatever. Sergio is that Moraes?
Yeah.
Up against Amari Akhmedov. Got a TKO. Third round. So Sergio gets the win there. Tim Means also gets a win over John Howard with a vicious second round, 21-second KO.
Okay, now, in this fight, when he's up against the fence, he admits to holding onto the fence. Mm-hmm. I mean, you think that's dirty?
Of course it's dirty. You're not supposed to do it. But is he admitting that he was holding onto the fence because he realized it in hindsight? Or is he admitting that he held onto the fence like that was part of his game plan?
He kind of made it sound like it was at the time. He was like, if plan A was any better, I wouldn't be doing plan B, but I'm doing plan B.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you do it until you get told not to do it anymore. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't...
Because like I've always said, if I actually ever have to get into a cage fight, if I'm doing mixed martial arts, and it's like, hey, you got whatever, for whatever reason it is, fucking Hunger Games style, you have to go in the cage and you have to fight, and here are the rules. The first thing I'm going to do is kick my opponent right in the fucking nuts, because you get one.
He saw, I'll take a point.
Yeah, I'll kick him straight in the nuts, and then I'm going for an eye poke, and then I'm grabbing the cage at least once too. Because you get a freebie on all that shit, and I'm going for
He
it.
saw, if I don't knock you out, you win the round 10-7. Automatically.
Automatic. Free shots all around. Then we kick off the main card, which is also on Fight Pass with Thiago Santos going up against Elias Torodoro with a decision to kick off the main card. But it didn't stay like that. The next 3 fights were all finished. Sage Northcutt got a vicious guillotine choke over Cody Pfister. Poor Cody, man. Just got a ration of shit coming into this fight and then ends up locked up in a guillotine at 41 seconds of the second round. And Sage Northcutt just has rippling muscles.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't even trying to guillotine. He was just flexing.
Yeah, it was just like,
he's looking up at the camera.
And
going,
pose.
Yeah,
and
look
pose.
at those muscles bounce. Michael Chiesa gets a win over Jim Miller. That kind of bummed me out. But
man,
I mean,
that's weird. Who called that?
I don't.
Yeah, me.
Nobody.
Yeah, me.
Yes, you did. Credit where credit's due. Mike Chiesa does what he's known for. Gets the guillotine, the rear naked choke at 2 minutes and 57 seconds of the second round. And then you also called this one Rose Namajunas up against Paige Van Zandt with the rear naked choke as well.
How many times was there a possible submission?
Enough. I mean, it went 5.5 rounds almost exactly.
They should. Her new name is Paige Rubber Woman Van Zandt. There was like an arm bar that bent backwards twice.
Well,
3 guillotines or 3 rear naked chokes. That the second one, I don't know how she was breathing.
she lasted long enough to get choked out eventually.
She's got a well, yeah. They said something to Rose in her corner at the end of the 4th, and Rose came back out and got it in a lot deeper, and then just cinched it. I think they were telling her, don't even try to lock it in until you feel her chin in a certain area.
I think you got to feel like when you're going this long in a fight, when you go 5.5 or 4.5 rounds of a fight, and you get that many submission attempts on somebody, you got to feel like I'm gonna get it eventually.
Right?
'Cause there's too many opportunities.
Yeah, but it's hard because one thing, this is one of those fights where the loser actually came out a winner with the fans. Because they
fought so hard.
Right. It was nothing but, even though she lost, it was nothing but Paige Van Zandt's got heart. She's an animal. I've never heard so much positive stuff about a loser in a fight. And I understand this is really like only her 4th or 5th.
Right. And the UFC still wants to build her up as a poster child,
But I mean, it's not even, and it's legitimate what they're saying. I mean, she was a female Diego Sanchez, blood and all.
There you go.
That hole in her face was enormous, dude.
There's a family picture floating around the internet of Dana White and his 4 kids.
It's got it crossed out.
It's got Paige Van Zandt and Ronda Rousey crossed out, and then it says Sage Northcutt and Conor McGregor sitting there. And 2 down, 2 to go is what it says. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Anyway, that wraps up your Fight Pass card on Thursday night. Then, of course, we had the Ultimate Fighter Season 22 go down on Friday night, the finale. And unbelievable, the guy that I called to win the entire season won the entire season on a technicality.
After being eliminated twice.
Whatever, man. He still won. You're kicking off your prelim card here. You had Yao Zikui up against Nolan Tickman. This split decision. It was on Fight Pass. I didn't see it. Did you watch this one?
It was all right.
All right. And then John De Los Reyes up against Holden Sengcha An. This is a rear naked choke as well. Lots of rear naked chokes happening over the week. And then we move on to your.
Is that the right fight?
Yes. No.
We're reading the wrong fight.
We are totally reading the wrong fight. So anyway, Ultimate Fighter 22, the finale went down last Friday. And
bring up the right one.
lots of good fights on this one. This was actually the Chad Mendez Frankie Yeager fight. We also had the late replacement from the Ultimate Fighter Season 22, who wasn't the winner, but the guy who won it couldn't fight on a technicality, or wasn't the finalist because of a technicality that had to do with his visa. So they put Ryan Hall in as his replacement, who I called to win the entire thing, and he ends up winning it. So let's go ahead and kick off the fight card once again.
There you go.
Yeah, this one makes a little more sense. Yes, Chris Grootsmasher up against Abner Rivera went to a unanimous decision with Chris winning. Also, Gene Herrera up against Joby Sanchez. Got a TKO. Joby lost that one in the second round. Ryan LaFleur up against Mike Pierce. This one went to decision with Ryan LaFleur getting the win. And good old Gonzaga got the win he desperately needed up against Konstantin Irokin by decision, but he needed the win. He really did. Then Julian Rosa went up against Marcin Rozek. This was a split decision. And then Kawajiri up against Jason Knight also got a decision. Decision Fest 2015 going on right now. Evan Dunham beats Joe Lauzon.
A horrible beating. Joe Lauzon was unrecognizable after this fight.
It's terrible, man.
It was bad.
Seriously, it's a bummer. J-Lo went from being the fight of the night guy, fight of the night guru. Now he's on the losing end of decisions.
Yeah, a lot of people say after the Joe fight, you gotta start gauging where you're at, because you want to leave on a high note. You don't want to be the gray ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a shame. Tony Ferguson up against Edson Barboza. This was a Bravo choke. Second round, Tony Ferguson gets the win there. And then Ryan Hall, decision over Artem Lobov. Not even one of his wizard knee locks or arm locks or anything like that.
We did a puzzle while this fight was going on. We did a puzzle, a crossword.
Constructed the Empire State Building out of toothpicks.
Yeah. My old lady almost knitted a koozie.
Oh, man. And then your final fight, which was surprising but not surprising. Frankie Edgar gets a KO win over Chad Mendez. I really thought Chad was going to bring more to the table in this fight. It really did. I'm not surprised Frankie won. Frankie's an amazing athlete. I did pick Chad to win, but I also didn't think that Chad was going to lose this poorly. Like 2.5 minutes into the first round, gets knocked out. But you thought Frankie was going to win last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you should do my DraftKings for me. Starting next week, if you don't mind. And then, of course, the big one, UFC 194, went down on Saturday night. What was this? People were calling it the Rumble in the Jungle of UFC.
All right, I'm just scanning to make sure we got the right fight.
Yeah,
this
we
time.
do. I looked. Court McGee got a unanimous decision to open up the night over Marcio Alexandre Jr. And then Yancy Medeiros, who was my underdog pick actually on my DraftKings card. He gets the split decision win over John Makdessi. When I got that underdog pick, I was like, hey, maybe I'm in the game today.
Maybe I am. Maybe
Fucking
I'm here.
Jacare. Magomed Mustafiz. I don't even know what that is. I fucked that one up poorly. Beats Joe Proctor with knees and punches, TKO. Again, this is all on Fight Pass as we move on to the prelims on Fox Sports 1. Leonardo Santos up against Kevin Lee gets the win with a TKO in the first round. And then Worley Alves up against Colby Covington. This was a guillotine choke. Also a minute and a half of the first round.
Nice cinched in one. It was good.
Yeah. Tisha Torres up against Jocelyn Jones Leibarger. Tisha gets a nice unanimous decision on that one. I mean,
but just the fact that it had to go to decision, I don't think it bodes well for Tisha.
I mean, you're kind of right. But she still kind of handled the fight.
Right.
Uriah Faber gets Frankie Sands with unanimous decision as well. Was really hoping for a finish in that one. Just didn't quite happen. And then kicking off your main card, Max Holloway up against Jeremy Little, Heath and Stevens. Max Holloway gets the win. Fucking Maya won't lose. Still going to be fighting in the UFC instead of going to teach jiu-jitsu somewhere because he gets a win over Gunnar Nelson. Another decision. And then the split decision that really pissed me off that I still don't agree with is Yoel Romero going up against Jacare Souza. Discussion?
This is one of those fights where I think Yoel did a lot early. And
I think he won the first round without a doubt. But
right,
he gassed
but
himself
that's
out.
what I'm saying, because a lot of decisions go by what a lot of the work. Usually, these split decisions will go to whoever worked the most in the third, and I just think, I don't know, I think Yoel did a lot early, and
yeah, I have no question that Yoel won the first round, absolutely.
Right.
But I really think Jacare got 2 and 3 pretty handily. And I think it should have gone to Jacare. So it sucks because the guy who he fought a while back for the belt, Luke Rockhold, now has the belt. Got it from Chris Weidman. 4th round TKO punches. And now Jacare goes down where this would be a good rematch for the belt. But Jacare moves down. Yoel Romero moves up. And then I don't know if we're going to have a Weidman rematch with Luke Rockhold. Really, if moving on to that fight, Luke Rockhold versus Chris Weidman for the belt, Rockhold was kind of in trouble, like you said, at the first round, wobbling back to his corner.
oh yeah, but even in the second, big open mouth breaths.
Yeah. Until Chris Weidman throws a stupid kick up against a guy who trains at the American Kickboxing Academy
Right.
with Cain Velasquez and
Cain Velasquez.
and just, people have come out of that camp that are just, Josh Koscheck, when he was at the peak of his game, was training there. It's just, they train champions. They got Dave Camarillo. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu coaches in the world. And they focus on kickboxing. Why are you going to throw a sloppy-ass back spin kick like that?
Yeah, and it's in the Bay Area, so they just have you go fight street people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to fight Bay Area street people.
No, it happens on the buses all the time. Amber lamps.
Amber lamps.
It does. It goes down, man. It goes down. So he throws a stupid kick up against Chris Weidman. He even said in the post-fight press conference, that's stupid. I might have been tired, yeah, but you don't do something like that against me.
Right.
It's dumb. And he proved that that's right. He capitalized on it and then just dominated the rest of the fights where Herb Dean had to call it, and he should have called it earlier. Like a lot of people agree.
Like a whole round earlier.
Yeah.
You think he should have called it at the end of the third?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes.
I guess just
Not even the end of the third. 30 seconds left in the third.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So gave him a little bit too much of the benefit of the
He
doubt.
still has a face, and I can tell it's a face, so maybe I'll let him.
He still looks like Chris.
He looks,
I'm not stopping until he doesn't like Chris anymore.
That's 2 eyeballs.
Chris, what's 2 plus 2? He said 4. That's intelligent, and he is somewhat defending himself
With his face.
with his face.
He's blocking punches with his nose. Conor McGregor is your new champion, no longer the interim champion, defeating Jose Aldo with a KO at 13 seconds into the fight. If you blinked, you missed it. People were even calling it a phantom punch, but you know what? After watching the replay, seeing the pictures.
No, they both connected.
Yeah, and here's what I was saying earlier about
Just
Dominic
one guy's
Cruz.
falling as he makes the connection to the second punch.
Dominic Cruz, before this fight even happened, Dominic Cruz said, was talking about, Conor McGregor's stand-up and him changing levels and him being very fluid and stuff like that, and how he thought that would favor Conor McGregor. But when he really broke down the fight, he said 100% of the people that Conor McGregor has faced have been standard fighters.
Right.
Not the case with Jose Aldo. So maybe 3 fighters that Jose Aldo faced have been southpaw fighters, which Conor McGregor is. So Conor McGregor can find an endless supply of standard fighters to train against for sparring and stuff like that, whereas Jose Aldo, the supply is a lot limited because there's not as many southpaw fighters out there.
Right.
And that creates a problem from the get-go. What Dominic Cruz said also was that by him being southpaw, it takes away Jose Aldo's kick. Takes it away from being an outside leg kick to an inside leg kick. And by creating an inside leg kick, it also brings his face forward for Conor McGregor's favorite weapon, which is a straight left. And so all this breakdown, which Dominic Cruz did a while back, turns out he was 100% correct.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't exactly a kick that led to it, but at the same time, this non-standard, the southpaw fighting stance, I think played a huge deal into this.
But you do realize, I mean, so many people broke it down a different way. Somebody was going to be right how they broke it down.
Well, of course. I mean, somebody had to be. And you can go back and look, and you can make it fit anywhere.
Right.
But really, I think it came down to the southpaw stance and Jose not being prepared for that, and he left himself vulnerable and got knocked the fuck out because of it. So now you have a new champion, and now the worst part about this is
Dude,
that
he took it so bad.
We have to listen to him run his fucking mouth forever now.
And now you have to let him.
I know.
You just have to let him.
It sucks. And that's what sucks the most about it.
Yeah. You have to actually add cars now to the hype train.
You do. You really do.
Right. We can't just make everybody get in standing room only.
No, you gotta,
we have to put 2 more locomotives and about like 6 more cars.
Stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knew the fucking drunken Pikey was actually the Gypsy Bare Knuckle boxing champion, huh?
Huh?
Nobody knew that.
What'd I tell you?
Yeah.
Take McGregor.
Cut the shots. Oh, yeah, big fucker, aren't you?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Right the whole time I was calling him Mickey from Snatch.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to believe it. But Aldo went home. They still threw him a parade, had a huge celebration for him. I mean, he was obviously
You can't take nothing away from Aldo. You can't. And the more McGregor wins, the less this loss is going to mean to Aldo.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, he was really good.
He was really good. I did go 10 years without losing a fight.
Right. He was really good.
No, I mean, if Aldo
Now,
wants a
if
rematch-
McGregor gets his ass whooped by some nobodies in the next 2 or 3 years, then they're like, Aldo, what happened?
dude? Seriously, that's when Aldo.
I sucked.
I could just see a cutscene coming up in like 3 years that some guy walks into a mini mart that Aldo owns in Brazil.
Did you see that? They had one. They had a shirt. It looked like a furniture place, Aldo's, and he had like a little shirt with his name Aldo on it.
Is that right? I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
No, and I mean he'll probably be independently wealthy in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a king down there. Like you said, they threw him a big party.
Yeah, that's good for them. At least he didn't come home to them being like, "You're a dick," throwing shit at him, throwing rotten food and AIDS.
Every bus got a banana.
When their soccer players lose, they're pretty fucking harsh.
Yeah, exactly. They're just fucking throwing rotten food and AIDS and trannies, just tricking them with Brazilian she-males. I know that trick.
You got me. You almost got me. I see the twigs and berries.
So that wraps up last weekend's 3. I mean, really, you had 4 fight days in a row if you include the Ultimate Fighter. So it's pretty packed week last week.
Yeah.
This week we have UFC on Fox 17, which is actually going down tomorrow night. Do we have that up there?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that's it right there. Hey, it is. I didn't know you switched pages. So you got your Fight Pass card, of course, with Luis Henrique going up against Francis Ngannou. Also, Hader Hassan is all the way down to the Fight Pass now.
It's not a bad place.
He just came off the Ultimate Fighter. What was it? I can't even think now. They did the two teams against each other. Black Zillions.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
You people know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where Hader Hassan comes from. Up against Vicente Luque. Also, Leon Edwards up against Kamaru Usman.
Well, remember, that's where Joe came. Lausanne, he came off the prelims.
You're right. And then Kamaru was also on that same one where they did team versus team. I just like to talk shit because I don't have Fight Pass. So I can't see the fight.
Oh, you'll see the fights. It'll just be later.
Yeah, exactly. So kicking off your main card, which is on Fox Sports 1, you have Cole Miller going up against Jim Allers. Cole Miller, always a good time, man. You know, he put up a hell of a fight up against Joe Lauzon when they were on the same season together.
Right.
That's always a rematch that I would love to see. We'll see how Jim Allers can hold up against his grappling because he's got really, really good grappling. Nick Lentz does as well. He's going up against Danny Castillo out of Team Alpha Male, who's going through a lot of turmoil right now.
I'm taking Castillo because if they have any more losses, they're going to be Team Alpha Fail.
I'm telling you, they're taking the divorce between Uriah Faber and Bang really hard.
Man.
It's really, really...
The kids are the ones that feel the pain.
Exactly. Mom and dad split. They can't focus now because they don't know whose side they're on anymore. It's like they all kind of like dad better, but
they're
mom
getting dropped
left.
off at grandpa's on the weekends.
they all kind of like dad better, but mom left, and mom also took the favorite.
But you get to eat out more, and there's more ice cream.
This is true. Plus 2 Christmases.
2 Christmases.
Josh Salmon going up against Tamden, the Barn Cat McRory, who is reinvented, by the way.
Really?
So we'll see how Tamden McRory does in this fight up against John Salmon.
New brand. He's got a box on him.
Yes.
Fresh and new.
Fresh and new. So fresh and so clean. And then Sarah Kaufman looking for a win to get back in the hunt for the title up against Valentina fuck you. Jesus. She's got more letters in her name than we have in the alphabet.
Does that say Chubinks?
Chubinks.
Shevchenko.
Sarah Kaufman, she really needs a win here.
Yeah, Kaufman does need the win.
If she doesn't get it.
Almost as much as Marquardt needs to win in the next fight.
Right. Well, if Kaufman doesn't win this fight, I see her going down to Invicta or being done.
I don't know about going down to Invicta anymore. I think there's some really good fighters in Invicta now.
Maybe that's a bad move for her, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's going to maybe start thinking of something else. So if she can pull a win together, then maybe she can string a few together and see what happens there. But I'm not feeling too confident about Sarah Kaufman in this fight. CB Dalloway, who was also on the Ultimate Fighter alumni, who came in making a big splash in the UFC off the Ultimate Fighter, then had some trouble, wasn't doing so well, has also kind of reinvented himself and been looking pretty decent in the cage lately. If he can get a solid win over Nate Marquardt this weekend, then that's going to be a big push for him and his brand.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Nate's going to fight for it because Nate needs the win more than Dalloway.
This is 100% true, but Nate, he hasn't been looking that great lately. So
that's why I'm saying he's got more to lose, I think. I think like Dalloway could take a loss and it wouldn't be as big a hit. But if Marquardt loses, this could be like the last fight we see him fight.
100%.
In the UFC.
And it's hard for me to pick a winner in this fight because neither one of them are that good. I can't feel confident. It's not like I'm looking at this going, oh, this is a really good matchup. These guys are awesome. I don't know who to pick here. It's like they're both just kind of, I don't know.
See, this is where I think the Hassan fight should be. And then I think CB Dalloway and Marquardt should be where the Hassan fight is.
I'm not going to argue that.
Right.
I'm not excited about this one at all.
No.
Charles Dubronx Oliveira going up against Miles Jury. If Dodge was here, he would say Dubronx.
Yeah.
All day. I got Miles Jury in this one.
Yeah, they're saying the jury's coming in heavy on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then kicking off your main card, which is on Fox, you have Randa Marcos going up against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Close enough. Got Randa in that one. Oh,
yeah, definitely. Going with the Honey Badger.
And then Michael Johnson, who already fought Nate Diaz in the hotel lobby, is going to fight him again.
209.
I don't know if I can pick
209!
I feel like I have to go with Nate because it's 209.
209.
Look, man, I'm just saying, when I got out to Florida, we was going to go fight, and I wanted to go get some food, but then I was walking through the lobby, and I saw Michael Johnson, and Michael Johnson was like, what's up? And I was like, 209, man. And he's like, whatever area code he's from, I don't even know. I didn't have my phone book on me, so I couldn't look it up. But bottom line is, it was 209, and he was not cool with that, so we scuffled a little bit. And I'm going to beat him up on Saturday.
Hopefully. Come on, Nate.
So,
you gotta do it.
I'll go 209 on this one. I still think Michael Johnson's going to win, but go Nate. Go 209. Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos going up against Alistair Overeem. I can't take the Reem. I'm taking JDS on this one.
How many people did Reem hurt in camp? That's what I want to know.
This time, I'm going to go with the over-under of 3.
3.
It'll work for me. Going JDS on this one. What about you guys?
Oh, I'm gonna go with the Reem.
The Reem?
Yep.
Josh?
Yeah, Overeem.
Overeem.
I'm always wrong, so don't listen to me. And then Rafael Dos Anjos is going up against Donald Cerrone. Rafael Dos Anjos is your champ at this point in time. These guys have already fought once. Rafael Dos Anjos won. I believe it was a decision.
So this is 2 hands against 10 gallon?
Yeah, 2 hands against 10 gallon. And here's the thing, though, is that Donald Cerrone's gone like on a 7-fight win streak since he faced Dos Anjos last time. Rafael, I mean, he's on a 4-fight win streak, which is not bad at all. These guys are definitely different fighters since the first time they faced each other, and I really don't know what to expect here.
I'm trying to find I want to try to find a picture of him of Cerrone in the weigh-ins today.
We could probably type there. Well, there it is.
Definitely take Cerrone. He's awesome.
I love Cerrone as a fighter. I love his personality. I think if I was going to try to be intelligent about this and not just go with my feelings of liking Cerrone, then I would say Dos Anjos by decision. That would be my guess. But
Oh, so they're going on right. I wonder where they're at in the weigh-in. Because I seen him yesterday. He was talking to Hawani, I think. He looked kind of weird.
he always looks weird. He's
But I mean,
a
just
weird-looking dude.
But, and I know they get sucked up before weigh-in, but he looked really sucked up.
Is it because he didn't have a beer in his hand?
Yeah. That's probably what it was.
Completely.
And he didn't have a cowboy hat on.
Has to be it. Makes the most sense.
No, I don't think we're going to get any pictures.
So anyway, that's your fight card going down tomorrow night. UFC on Fox 17. Make sure you check it out. It's a freebie with the prelims on Fox Sports 1.
Okay, here he is.
Got
Wow,
Donald
we
Cerrone-
get right to him.
Donald Cerrone coming up right now for the weigh-ins. We're actually watching this live as we broadcast to you via whatever media you're listening to us on. And Cerrone is now taking off his giant belt buckle, still has his 10-gallon hat on, and the pants come down.
The pants are out.
And the ladies go wild. He's got a beautiful red shirt on with some UFC knee-high socks.
Those belt buckles in the Midwest, by the way, are called penis tombstones, just for you those following along at home.
And now we have Cerrone getting on, looking pretty cut.
See what I mean? Doesn't he look sucked up? Or?
He does, yeah. I mean, up there where his shoulders are, his clavicle, you can eat cereal out of that. He like made 2 bowls. he's got like 2 bowls on the side of his shoulders.
Fantasy,
hey man, whatever.
All right, here comes 2 hands.
Just don't want to eat cereal out of his belly button. Why does that make me weird? I don't understand the problem here.
See, I think 2 hands don't look so bad because he's so tan.
I just want to get 2 Cheerios and a little bit of milk and a tiny spoon.
What's Joe Rogan? Why does Joe Rogan look so pissed?
He's always pissed.
He's mad.
Because he had to apologize to Jose Aldo because of the internet outrage machine. So here we have Dos Anjos. He's wearing a black Evolve shirt. Because they're allowed to wear whatever they want to the weigh-ins, huh?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it depends where it is, what's going on.
I don't know.
See, he
Doesn't
don't
look, yeah, but like you said, it's because he's tan.
He thinks because he's tan. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see. It's going to be a great fight regardless, I'm sure. Like I said, I think Dos Anjos by decision, but damn, I'm really rooting for Cerrone on this one. Make sure you check it out tomorrow night. It's free on Fox Sports 1 and on Fox. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends to find us on we're Split Decision MMA, by the way. Find us on Spreaker.
And we'll give a wrap-up for these fights. We'll just give you wrap-ups from probably my MMA news. You probably won't hear from us till after the first.
Yeah.
We're going to actually take off some time to be with our families.
Yeah. You should really take off that fucking ring next time that you do this podcast.
I like slamming the table. It's what I do. I slam the table.
Tell your friends, get Split Decision on Spreaker, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes, also iHeartMedia, or iHeartRadio, sorry, and our website, which is splitdecisionmma.com. You can find us on Facebook under Split Decision MMA Podcast and Instagram and Twitter at SD_MMA. Big thanks to StrongboardBalance.com for our sponsorship and, of course, MyMMAnews.com as well. It's Bueller and the Ruloff brothers from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios saying have a good night, and we will see you at the fights.
Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And Hanukkah. But that's over. But whatever.
Kwanzaa.